Oh wow, yeah, real lighting. Okay, well first off, thank you everybody for being here. This is nerve-wracking. Thank you for being here, the panel especially. Thank you everybody for coming out and purchasing tickets. Sorry, no. First I want to introduce you guys to the panel. Let me see if I can do this in order. Okay, please step down. Bear with me because I'm trying to read this and make sure I got every stuff right. Okay. Sophia Reese, better known as Reese, is the founder and fashion designer of Reese Baboo. Did I say that right? Reese that he is back. You know, it's okay. How she said it. Real French. Born and raised in Long Island, New York, Reese currently resides and operates in Brooklyn. She is a FIT graduate with a degree in production management, certification in pattern making and quality control. As a result of a traumatic and tragic accident, she is disabled, but through hard work, determination, and passion, she is adapting to a new way of life. She is paving a way for herself in the fashion industry. Her goal is to help change the perception of what being disabled looks like, redefine disability, and spread awareness of ableism. Never mind. I was about to say some other shit. Next we have Camille, who is also my manager. Camille Hall is the e-commerce merchandising manager for Milk Makeup. Prior to Milk Makeup, she worked at Clinique on both the global marketing and e-commerce team. She carries her skills beyond beauty while operating a music services company named Black Summer, where she manages DJs and produces events. There is where she's my manager. Next, we have Yolanda. Yolanda is a Virginia Beach native, now 4 years deep in NYC. As creative director of style blog, The Language of Yolanda, and curated by Yolanda, her goal is to proclaim the beauty of living in your purpose. With The Language of Yolanda, she uses this platform to encourage personal growth through personal style, speaking on topics such as healing, growth, purpose, and faith. This year, Yolanda started Created by Yolanda, a collection of visual stories, spaces, and events. The work of Curated by Yolanda focuses on the advancement of the African diaspora through highlighting the strength of community, reestablishing the understanding that it takes a village to heal, grow, and succeed. It's hot as fuck in here. Next we have Ashley. I'll figure out the temperature in a second. Let me just read all these and I'm gonna get y'all together. Ashley is a digital content creator with expertise in beauty, fashion, and lifestyle. Currently, she is the digital beauty director at Ola USA. In the past, Ashley has held leading positions such as beauty editor at Latina magazines. She's freelance for Cosmos for Latinas, Harper's Bazaar, and NBC's Today Show. As a Bronx native raised by Dominican and Puerto Rican parents, she takes pride in her cultural roots with each story she creates. She's a self-love enthusiast who believes in empowering women and the youth with her good vibes and content. I'm sorry, y'all. Last but not least, we have Nolo. Nolo, can you say your full name for me one time?
Nola Iso.
Say it.
Nola Iso.
Okay, there we go. Affectionately known as Nolo, is a South African-born New York City raised Pan-Africanist and feminist who currently works as an e-commerce assistant for Gucci. Nolo is also a co-founder of Tropical Jama. Did I say that right? Yeah. A woman-led collective that connects and celebrates New York's diverse Black diaspora through creative collaboration and cultural enterprise. Okay. Wow, that was a lot to get out. This is our amazing panelist of beautiful women of color. And I actually have to get the questions because it's not on this phone. Actually, recently, I bought Ricky for a second. Do you still have this app in your phone?
Yeah.
Can I borrow it, please?
Yeah.
Because my phone is recording. I didn't take that part. Sorry.
Getting released.
No, but I've never been each. I've seen you. Like, when you came in the team, I don't know. I met you. Because I was going to be like, I don't know.
Sorry for all the responsibility. Okay. Okay, so first I would like to start with, and of course anybody can jump in, you can go in order, however you guys feel. If you want to speak on it, you can, if you don't. What do you love about being a woman of color?
Well, I'll say this. I love that we have our own language. Like, if you just. Or like this. Okay. So I love that we have our own language. I love that we come in some freedom. And I just love that we have this unspoken strength that has been passed down from generation to generation. Like, I'm pretty sure you have too many strong women in your families. So yes, I love that we
I totally agree with that. I think the strength of Black women is the most appealing thing about Black women because we can go through so much. Think about it. There's problems going on with being a woman. There's problems going on with being Black, and then here's this Black woman just powering through all of it, and she looks happy every time she's out. She's like just strong, and I definitely agree with that. It's my favorite part as well.
Yeah, I would say what always just like makes me so proud to be a woman of color is the perseverance and the vibrancy that we all have, even when we may not know each other, but just like you said, that unspoken like connection and truth, like we just, how do I say, gravitate to one another, and it's just so real and authentic that you just know it's like a secret kind of like girls club you didn't know you were a part of until like you see each other at an event, you're like, hey girl.
Especially the thing that's like mostly like not women of
Yes,
color. And
absolutely.
you're not even trying to just gravitate to the Black woman. You want to, talk to everybody. And then somehow you're like, oh crap, I'm in a group of Black women. Or the two, because there's more to it.
I like the duality as a woman that we have. Like, not only are we nurturing and where we can be, I don't really like to use the word submissive, but we have this side of us that is a little softer. But then we also can at the same time be aggressive, be headstrong and masculine, have masculine tendencies as people would like to say. But I think that the fact that we have that duality as women, that we can switch back and forth and be the leader, but also take a step back and also be like, the voice of reason and steer people in the right direction.
I think women of color have no fear of self-expression, and I think sometimes we can be shy and all of those things that a lot of people can be, but I think especially when we get together, it's like, okay. And whether that's through the way we dress, the way we wear our hair, the way we speak, the jobs we choose to have, I think that there's no fear, and I don't know where. I'm sure that comes from years of being passed down and things like that, but that's what I love about being me.
girls, you go through this time in your life where you're rebellious and the relationship you have with your mom is not really the strongest or the most, you know, romantic, like, you know, the most loving at the time. But I think definitely my mother, like, she was an activist in South Africa, came to a foreign country, had 2 kids in a farmland, and like went back to school, got her degree, and was still able to persevere through all of that, like fight for freedom, and then also live in a foreign country. I mean, I get all my confidence from her because, I mean, I'll complain about the smallest things, but when I think back to what she was able to accomplish at her age, it kind of shocks you that how strong women can be. And for me, that's where my confidence comes from, is from her and other women like her that have gone through any type of struggle and persevered.
Yeah, I would say when I think of confidence, it's my mother. You know, just because for me, I put together like confidence and beauty in the same boat, and I'm like anyone who is determined and also perseverance, and they just don't take no for an answer. Like that to me is confidence, and that's my mother. You know, she was a single mom growing up, and I just saw her do it all. Like you said, you know, when you see your mother not only as a mom but just as a woman, it's a different chapter. Whether or not you have the best relationship with her or not, you just learn to see, wow, through that she was able to be confident, and like I have those traits too, so I can hold that to me too. So yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I think your last comment about like seeing your mother as a woman, it took me some time to see my mom as a woman. It took me probably until like, as I'm going through these problems and seeing myself having to power up and source from some power that I have inside of me, and it's usually my mom. As well as just any woman of color that I'm interacting with. It's just seeing a woman go through issues or going through problems but still able to be confident and live in who they are. I think that makes me say, okay, I can be sad some days, I can be, you know, mad at things or be going through things or growing from things and still have confidence and still, you know, feel myself. So I think it was definitely like every woman I've interacted with really has given me that confidence.
I like to say I was born with my confidence. And obviously that comes from my parents and the people, you know, people that I grew up with and I'm around. But I think it got lost. I found it again. It gets lost some days. I found it again. So I mean, I've gone through different phases. Definitely moving to New York and sort of figuring out what it was that I wanted to do here. This place like literally forces you to be exactly who it is you're supposed to be or get out. So yeah, I think it's a constant journey, and maybe that, like to your point, maybe that's what confidence is the idea that okay, I don't have to feel good about myself every day, but I have to continue to move forward.
I definitely agree with you. I feel like confidence comes and goes. I feel like a source of my confidence, of course, my mom, for sure. But also, I think a source of confidence comes from the men in my family. My fathers, my brothers, I come from a family of 3 boys. So when you have such a strong male energy in your life, as well as your mother, and they like create this amazing, just like a platform for you to just take from, I feel like that's where my source of confidence comes from. Plus, you know, our life experiences, the things that we go through on a daily basis.
What are some struggles you constantly have to overcome, and how does being a woman of color play a role, if any?
That's a loaded question.
It's a loaded question.
Constant struggles for me is I always talk about this with friends, and it's like you don't know, not only being in a body of a woman, but being in a body of a woman of color, you have to go through so much on a daily basis, where not only are you thinking about your safety, you're thinking about how to find your voice, you're thinking about how to find your voice in a way that you won't be labeled in a negative light. With that, like for me, one of the struggles I have like is finding my voice at work where I can have like my normal persona outside of work, cannot fit in my workplace, where I won't be looked at as an angry Black woman for speaking up, you know. So, but also I'm more passive at work than I am in my normal life. And before I never really noticed that. I'm like, is that because I'm trying to be this other person, make other people comfortable? So it's that making sure that I feel comfortable and not really care about how other people perceive it. And that for me, that's something that I struggle with a lot. Is specifically in the workplace, and then just like my male friends trying to have them understand sometimes certain situations where we talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and Black women's issues not really being heard within that movement, and Black women's issues not really being heard within the feminist movement. So having to be this activist, but then also not really seeing myself within the movement is like another struggle for me that I deal with, that I try to be more vocal about without, again, having that stigma of like the angry Black woman.
For sure. I totally agree with you on that. And for me, what I struggle with most is imposter syndrome, like beyond belief. I mean, I'm someone who is living with anxiety and depression, and I say that not because I want you to feel bad for me or anything, to make it easier for other people to talk about it. And specifically in the Black and brown community, it was so hard for me to be like super honest and tell people, you know, what it is that I'm going through when I'm behind closed doors, because, you know, everybody's an Instagram moment. That's what I call it. Like, it's like a highlight reel all the time. And I feel specifically like in the day that we live in now is that we only really want to talk about certain things that look pretty and fluffy. So when I talk about my anxiety or depression, I talk about it with people who I care about and who I know that are gonna see me for me. And to know, like, boosting me back up to confidence and saying like, it's okay to feel sad today. And it's okay to not be yourself in this moment, it'll pass. Because truth be told, it's just flows. It's just all energy and it's all flowing, and we're all putting each other's lives to uplift each other. Because if I'm having a bad day, my best friend is right there. I love her so much. She'll hit me up, and she just knows. There's just certain, I'm super big, and how I overcome it is like spirituality. I find my higher power, whether that's like meditating or downloading an app, because for me, that's what helps me get out of myself. And I feel like in this day and age, especially for women of color, there's so many things that are happening, you know, politically, socially, emotionally, that like, how do we like take care of ourselves, you know? Like the best way, and it's honestly through self-love and doing the things like buy yourself flowers, like I do that. I keep candy around in my desk because to me, I believe that it makes life sweeter. Like these are just little things that I do to just, cause when you know you live with something, you surrender to it, which is okay. You let go, you know? And then you learn how to live with it and not work against it. So that's how I overcome it.
Surprisingly enough, confidence is something I struggle with in a sense of kind of in the way of imposter syndrome and just really believing in the talent and the purpose that I have is sometimes hard, and it really does have something to do with the ability to see what everyone is doing. And I even thought about it today where I was sitting around with like, I'm a blogger, so I do get like things from brands, and I'm sitting around like in this like free outfit, and I'm just like, I don't get nothing. Like, no, you may not be getting that, but you're moving and you're working. And another struggle for me is consistency because of the fact that I'm so busy paying attention to what everyone else is getting, and too busy like not being there for myself in a sense. Because ask my friends, I will hype you up to the end. I will meet you in 1 minute and be like, girl, like, you know? But when it comes to giving those words back to myself, it's not always there. So that is definitely one thing I struggle with, and things that with meditation and definitely spirituality that I'm trying to really focus on.
I struggle with the why. Like, you know, not in less in a dramatic sense, but like truly, like why this job? Why am I getting up today? Why am I doing this event this weekend? Like what? And this is sort of like a recent thought too. Like, what is not the end goal, but what is, what am I trying to get out of this? I think we're told a lot, especially nowadays with spirituality, and be something we talk about a lot, like the pleasures in the work and in the journey, but it's not pleasurable.
I'm being broken.
Yeah, like sitting in a meeting some days with, people talking about marketing ideas that are not good is not fun. So I think one way I overcome it too is, and maybe this is sort of a connection like back to confidence, is like, not only what are you getting out of it, but who's around you that you're able to help. And what in the work that you're doing, who's able to benefit from it besides yourself. So, and be it a family member or someone, like Taylor that I work with, or even a coworker at work that can be really excited about a project, and I know that my skills can help them accomplish a goal. So that's something that's been working a lot for me, and it sort of makes those negative thoughts go away really quickly, and allows me to just move on to the next thing. It's not about me as much as it is about the work, because it's about others.
Going back to the struggle, I feel like on a daily basis, something that I really struggle with is anxiety and depression as well. Because as Taylor touched on, I am by definition disabled. A couple of years ago, I was hit by a car and I broke both my legs. I had like multiple injuries. And you looking at me now, you're probably like, oh, she looks cute, whatever. But right now, I'm in so much pain. My pain is on a level 1 to 10, I'm on a 50. And people often, they hear disabled and they feel like, oh, it has a look. I often feel so displaced and like, I walk around with cane and I have all these things that I have to do in order to just feel, to compensate for my pain. But like, when I'm sitting amongst you guys, I don't feel like I'm an equal, because there are things that I can't do, like having heels on, coming here in heels, and like things like that is hard, and it's difficult to be amongst your peers but not be amongst your peers, because a lot of people don't understand, what my life struggles are, like not being able to take a standing shower. Like I sit in the shower every time I take a shower. So like those little things, I'm of course I'm grateful for, like just to be able to like, do the things that I'm able to do. But that's a constant struggle for me every day, and I'm reminded like, you're not like everyone else, and I'm always trying to overcompensate, and in the end I'm always hurting myself. So yeah,
There's a part 2 that none of us got to.
What was the second
part?
part?
Does being a woman of color play a role?
Okay.
I think that goes without saying. It goes without saying.
It does.
Yeah.
But it's also like just talking about anxiety and depression and being, and going back to what makes Black women so amazing, and we talk about strength. It's like we're not allowed to talk about that because that makes us weak, and we're already as women viewed kind of as weak, so we kind of like tend not to talk about that. And as well, thank you guys for sharing that. I mean, I definitely have had my issues with anxiety and depression, but to bring that up is just like, oh my God, I'm gonna be viewed as weak, and I don't want to be treated any differently, or. But
It's like sometimes you just don't want to be like, oh, she's on suicide watch. Because
exactly.
it's hard when like people of color are not good with it. So like they need to talk about depression. Like, I know my mom, my brother sometimes struggles with it, and she'll just yell at him. like I'm like, Mom, that's not. He's not gonna do better because of that, and she just doesn't know. She doesn't understand.
And I think that's what it is. It's the lack of education. Just because for years, at least for me, I grew up in a house where it was just like, just pray about it. Let God take care of it. Which I choose to believe he does, but I feel like sometimes like therapy works.
Yeah.
Like, it really does.
Right.
Right. on a good like girl chat talk, you know? Like I feel like the more we get comfortable talking about it too, whether it's like our best friend or our boyfriend or our parents, the more we'll feel comfortable just talking about it. Because I used to feel so weak about saying it too. I was like, yeah, I got depression, anxiety. Now I'm like, yep, I got depression, anxiety, and what? Like, what's up? You know, like, and I'm
Me
still,
too.
yeah. And you're like, girl, yeah, me too. That's literally how it goes down. But we think of this alternative worse situation
Yes.
that you're like, oh wow, it could end in ice cream and everybody would be happy. You know?
And also you help others give it a name and it doesn't have to be this other thing.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's healing for me just
Yeah.
knowing that I'm not alone.
Yes, it's so true. That's literally the key thing, at least for me in my experience, is feeling like, am I the only one that's feeling like this? And once you get vocal about it, it's true.
You take that energy, put it in another space, and you affect 3 other people that affect 3 other people. And in that evolution, we're stopping generational curses.
Stigmas.
No, I definitely wanted to touch on that because I know my personal struggle is like realizing that I don't have to do everything. Like I'm somebody that's like, I take care of this, I take care of that. If somebody else needs help, I'm there. Like I'll do everything. Like I have all these ideas in my head. I'm gonna make it happen and then be stressed the fuck out to the point where now I have so many body spasms that I'm in pain all the time, and I have IBS, so that's cleared up, and I'm in pain from that, along with so many other things. And then also, in the most recent months, I've been struggling with really realizing that, like, as a Black woman, there's a lot of people that aren't actually there to save you. Like, I've been in a lot of situations recently where the men have been attacking me, and there's nobody around to help. Like literally I got attacked on the train a couple weeks ago and everybody on the train looked nothing like me, so nobody stepped in while this Black man was coming at me, and he proceeded with another woman of color before he even got to me. And I never felt so angry to the point where it's like, and I've actually felt like that before because there was a group of white people that threw trash at me one time years ago where it was like, you know that you're outnumbered and there's nothing that you can do. Because I have no problem with fighting. Like, if it really comes down to it, I have no problem with speaking my mind. Someone that says whatever has to go down, I'll do it. I've stepped in for other people when I see shit happening, like, nope, we're not going to do this right now. Like, this is what's not going to happen. But for it to be like a situation where it's this crazy person in front of you or just a group that's bigger than you and you're just like, it's not smart to step up and be like, okay, I'm gonna defend myself in this instance because you don't know what else can happen. Like he could have had a knife, he could have had a gun, they could have jumped me, so many other things could have happened. And then of course, with the train situation, it's like I'm going to get off the train to get help from MTA and nobody's fucking around. So it's like, okay, what do I do? And then I had like briefly wrote about it on Instagram, and my sister tried to like get me to talk about it, and it's just like I don't want to talk about it. Like I just need you to understand. Like I just don't want to talk about it. I'm not like upset about it anymore, or like I'm technically over the situation, but I just don't want to go through that again. Like I just don't want to talk about it, and she's just like trying to push me to talk, and it's like there's nothing, I don't want to talk. But that's like a constant struggle that I've been dealing with recently, where it's just like I can't sometimes, I really can't.
Because it feels like you have tons of things you need to
Yeah,
talk about.
yeah,
It's like every day
so
there's
much,
something.
so much to
You feel like
process.
you just like can't hear yourself anymore. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
It's too much. But next question is, how do you assert yourself and deal with stereotypes?
I just address them. Like when I feel like someone is like trying to box me in or place a label on me, I'm very vocal and immediately, so I'll make them uncomfortable. Like, also, you think that was the right thing to say, or like just address it. And people, they normally think I'm silly anyway, so I'll approach it in a silly way, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that wasn't the right thing. As long as you make people uncomfortable, they'll second guess, at least when they're around you, how they speak or, certain things that they say. Like, I had to make somebody uncomfortable today. So I'm working for a new production company, and one of the women that I work for, she's Caucasian, and she was just talking about how pretty much our target market is our young women of color, mostly like youth. And she was just like, oh, we don't spend, white people don't spend any money on this, that, and the third. And just like the way she was talking about people of color, I was just like, do you think that's appropriate as me being the only woman of color in this room for you to be speaking like that? And like, I've only been working here for 2 weeks, but I don't have an issue telling someone in a space, whether you're paying me or not, you're gonna listen to what I have to say, and you're gonna understand, like, this is not okay to say this. You want to say this to your buyer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to say something like that to your buyer, you're going to say it in a more professional manner. So just because I'm working for you or with you, you think it's okay to address people that look like me like that? No, not okay. And ever since I said, and I had to correct her, she was just like, black girls and black this. And I was just like, women of color? And then ever since I've addressed it, she catches herself like, oh, but women of color. Yes.
Yeah. I think you just have to address it in the moment because it's fresh. People, you don't need to go and tell the story again, tell people what they said. It's interesting though, we've been doing an artist showcase this past year, and so we've been communicating with a lot of artist management, and artists came to the show with the manager, and the manager told me, just me and him, we're exchanging money, whatever. He goes, it's crazy. I thought you were a white girl this way you were communicating via email. And I was like, what is that? I would ask him, what does that mean? What is that? I was like, what does that mean?
Oh, you speak proper, you like correct.
So he was like, you were just like very quick with your emails, and I was like,
Black people are slow with their emails.
I was like, it's strange because everybody that I've worked with on these prior events have been black, and everyone's been pretty timely with their emails except you. It just kind of blew my mind. One, that he felt, it's one of those things you're like, I don't think he meant, but that's not the point. What he meant, it's what he said. And so, like you said, I think you just had to address it, and I think there's a way to sort of walk people through what it is that they said so they get it now. It doesn't become this like quick immediate thing. They have to think before they speak. And I think there's a way to. It's not. But as a human, just as a person that has to communicate with humans every day, it becomes part of.
It's for you. It's not just for them. It's for you.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's same thing, but like really just educating me on it. Like, why do I feel this way? Why are these things why is this a thing? Like, I remember at my old job, there would be I'm that person that like I'm connected with slavery.
I literally just told my boyfriend that yesterday. I make so many people uncomfortable. I'm sure. I don't know, slavery happened.
And it's just like, I'm going to educate you on it because I want you to understand. I want you to understand why it can be this way. And I'm not making excuses for it because there are some things in every culture that is not ideal. And I'm just like, look, these are the reasons why in my culture, that is why this is happening. And this is why it's inappropriate for you to speak on these things that way. And so I will talk about those things. Granted, I'm learning to choose my battles, which sucks. It sucks but it's still a matter of educating that person you're talking to, and so that's my biggest thing.
Yeah, no, you guys were amazing. Honestly, I would say for me, since I work in a Latin publication, it's always letting them know that there's no one way to be Latina. And there are African American Latinas, Afro Latinas, there are Muslim Latinas. There's just so many ways to be Latina, just like there's so many ways to be a black woman. There's just so many ways to be a woman of color, especially if you're just constantly infusing in each other's cultures, which is beautiful. But that also means it's our duties, which is sometimes very exhausting. I'm not gonna lie, especially as a beauty editor, I get so many pitches around women of color when I'm like, this makes no sense. So I hear you when you talk about the marketing pitches that you sit in or you having to educate people. But I feel like, I think Oprah said, too much that is given, much is required.
Yes.
And I always try to remember that because I can get so in my head as to why this person does not deserve a seat at the table. And I try and reverse it on myself. I'm like, listen, I'm here to help them. And as much as I just want to be like, what did you just say? I have to just be very vocal, address it at that moment, and also visually show them. I literally visually show them what an Afro Latina looks like, what natural hair looks like in all aspects, from the pretty soft curls that you want to see on your ad to the coily and beautiful and vibrant, like wild coils. And this is something that I feel like the more we talk about it and have more panels, that corporate America or Big Brother will be like, oh wow, not only are they owning this space, but they're also starting coalitions in these aspects, you know? So that's how I try and overcome it in the best way possible.
For me, I have more so experiences outside of work than within the workplace in terms of stereotypes, and that's being, once people find out that I'm South African, they're like, oh, you look African. And I'm like, yeah, because it's a continent made up of 50 different things. We're all supposed to look the same, but that makes no sense. And so for me, it's always, I'm quick to confront someone. I've been known to be confrontational, but it's more so just like educate the person with some sarcasm. And but yeah, I have no issues with approaching it then and there and kind of wanting them to know what they said is stupid and making them feel dumb. So that's
On the rare occasion that we can.
I'm gonna go so much harder.
yeah, exactly.
That brings me to my next question. How do you maneuver racism and sexism?
I've had very, funny enough, I've gone to predominantly white schools majority of my life, and I've had few instances of racism, like blatant racism, microaggressions always, because it's always been like, oh, you talk so well, and I never understood that being younger what that meant. I mean, I knew it was a backhanded compliment, but at the same time, I didn't, at that time, there weren't those terms associated with that. But recently, when I started my job now in October, there was this guy, which I never had to deal with blatant racism at work. So it was a new area for me, and I didn't know how to navigate because, again, the whole idea of like not wanting to have a hostile work environment. Are they going to even fire him because he is not a person of color? So actually, yes, he's Asian, but he said a lot of derogatory terms about, like derogatory statements about Black people and women in general as well. So I mean, eventually, I got advice from all of my friends as to how to approach the situation. Didn't end up going to HR. Come to find out, I wasn't the only person that had an issue with it. And he had a file with other reports, but they weren't doing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he had a file like several people had to complain about him, and then I went to my boss, and I was just like, this, because it was during the time of the whole sweater situation, so they're very like tiptoe, like anything racist, you have to go. So I told my boss, and I was just like, makes me feel uncomfortable because even when we had to talk about that, he was just like, I don't care, like who cares about blackface, and like comments like, oh, slavery was so long ago, like, you know, like stuff like that. Like it was just like, let's just go sign and swear out, like, and so he was just like, I had no idea. So the assistant managers were taking all this information but not passing it off to him, so he had no idea what was going on. And he's Dominican, and he was upset, like, because he's Latino, Latinx,
all of it.
and he was just like, no, this is unacceptable, and fired him then and there. So that was the first time of having to like deal with that. And it was just like, at work, you feel comfortable, there's people around, like, you feel like you can say this to me. So that was weird because racism is not taking this new form where people are blatant and in your face about it. in front of everyone. It's no longer, you know, causing racism. People are just out in the open with it. So
Privilege is out of control.
exactly.
Yeah.
Very
I would say, yeah, like my experience thus far, since I've been so privileged, because it is a privilege to work with women of color, I recently have encountered some racism, and it's really interesting because it's backhanded. So I'm still learning my ways to maneuver around it, because I will get comments like, oh wow, you're so well spoken for a Latina, or like, oh, you speak English too, oh, you speak Spanish, and I'm just like, what are these, like, what bubble do you live in? And it's something that I'm learning that in my career, or just in general, as I like progress in life, these are things I just have to either address in the moment, or just not let it stick to me, because it's not who I am at the end of the day. And now I find a lot of the conversations being, because being Latina or Latinx or Afro-Latina, there's so many different ways. And when you think about Latinx, you think about not only just gender equality, but also the different forms of ways to be Latina, which is how you identify yourself. I cannot tell you who to identify as. That's a personal, you know, situation. So now when I deal with racism, I really like to just, and it sounds weird, but I like to give it a day to journal about it, because I have to ask myself, where did I allow this comfortability to come into the room? And now more than ever, because of the political climate that we're in, it sucks for me to say it, but you have to be very strategic. Because when you're in these different situations, and that's just my experience, Ed, if you're outspoken, I can be too outspoken at sometimes, so I need to take that moment of pause, because I can be real impulsive. So I like to take a minute, and it was, like, I'm gonna say 2 weeks ago, there was another person in my team who happened to be the only Caucasian woman on the team. And I practice compassion around her, because things that she says sometimes do really throw me off. But I'm just like, wow, she really has no idea. So what I did in that instant was I was like, okay, let me take her out. Let's go to tea, let's get some coffee. And we broke bread, and it was very hard. I'm not gonna lie, because I had this pre-notion of who she was, given the comments that she would say in meetings, and no one would flinch, yet I was like, what the heck, are you hearing this? And when I spoke to her one-on-one about it, she's like, wow, Ash, I had no idea that's how you felt, or how it made you feel, or how, and I'm like, yeah, you know, when you said that about Venezuela, that wasn't really too cool. Or like, when you made that whole comment about the Latina soccer team girls, about this, like, I didn't really jive with that. And she was just like, I had no idea. I was like, honestly, it's like me getting at Taylor Swift, and you love Taylor Swift. She's like, you're right. Like, you know, like, and that's my nature though. That's just how I am as a human. Anyone else, like, I can be too outspoken once again, and a little bit could get me in trouble. So I try and give it a beat to handle it.
I lost the question.
Hold on, how do you maneuver racism and sexism?
I've never really experienced like you're saying, blatant racism. Definitely ignorance and privilege is probably what I experienced more. Just not saying that they're not aware of what they're saying, they're just not, you know, it's a different type of not being aware. But recently, the thing I interacted with was sexism. And I think as a Black woman or a woman of color, we sometimes push the woman aside, because we're so focused on this huge thing that's been a thing over our head for so long with being Black, that I forgot that I was a woman. And it wasn't until I had a manager and I was working in luxury fashion where they do require you to wear your hair a certain way, makeup and all these things, and I was not about to be wearing makeup every day. So there was a period where I didn't wear makeup for a while. And my boss, I came with makeup on, and it was like our morning meeting, and it was this white male who says to me, yeah, you're wearing makeup. And I'm like, excuse me? And I was like, well, I'm not gonna wear it every day. And so I was like, and granted, I got more sensitive of that because, you know, I have acne and I have these things, so sometimes I get jump on the sensitivity when it comes to like makeup and things like that. So I let it pass, and then I had this huge sale. And then he says to me, I was like, because I was trying to be more positive too, because I kept missing these huge sales, and I was like, I was more negative at that time. And then so he says to me, I was like, yeah, I got a huge sale. And he's like, well, you know, something changed. And I didn't understand that he was even talking about that. Because once again, the woman thing gets pushed to the side. So I'm assuming he's like, I was like, yeah, you know, I am more positive now. And so I go downstairs and this is horrible, but I'm like peeing and I'm like squatting over and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. And they hit me right then and there. I came back upstairs and I'm like, are you saying that the reason why I got that big sale is because I had makeup on? And this small ass store where we have a rotation system. The next person was the next person. I could have not been at work that day and someone else would have got that sale. And I was just like, wow, I was so surprised by that. Like, you think that my abilities, the things that I'm good at, my sales techniques, all of that require makeup? And that hurts so bad. Like, it hurts so bad. I was like, damn, I forgot I was a woman. Like, I forgot that this was something that could happen to me. That this is something I will, like, have to take on and have to address and have to talk about. Granted, I did sign a contract that said I had to wear makeup every day. Why? But it was still hurtful to know that you truly believe that all my talents are coming to how I look. And it also, because I remember one time he said there was a girl coming to interview, and I don't think he was there that day, or I think she came to drop off her interview. No, she just came to drop off her resume. And we told him about her, and he was like, is she cute? That was his question. Like, that was his question.
I didn't know how like shallow retail was, and those instances have happened to me where it was like I'm working at a place and it's like, oh yeah, I remember when you came in for your interview, you were so cute, or when you dropped off your resume, you were so cute, and it's like, so I pretty much got this job because I was confused. Where does that come into play? Like, so you completely ignored my resume or like a care less about that because I came in and was like attractive? I don't understand.
And mind you, all my sales, all of my other very big sales came from days I didn't wear makeup. I helped Lil' Kim with no makeup. Like, she had no makeup on, I had no makeup on. It was good. So, what was that? Not to take this out of like context of what we're talking about, but Lil' Kim is actually very beautiful. Her makeup artist. Because she's actually the same color. She has not changed her color. She only looks like that in photos and on the internet. She actually is very beautiful in person. She doesn't even look like so made up as in like plastic surgery in person.
Wow.
She really felt like
I guess that was
I'm her defender now.
I mean, I always meant to be a little Kim, but
I was going her. That was
What was his response when you said that to him?
Oh, he felt bad. But he didn't feel bad enough to apologize or
He was like,
he talked to my coworker because I told my coworker about it the next day and was like, yeah, we're on a train together. He felt really bad about it. Oh, I'm so glad he told you. Another male. But me. And he was like, well, I have to get my haircut. He told my coworker, well, I have to get my haircut and do all these things. I was like, your haircut lasts for 2 weeks. I ain't no makeup in the world that I can put on that will stay on for 2 weeks. Like for a week or whatever. You're like, it's not the same. It's not the same. And that's the sad part, what they don't realize. It's not the same. And it hurts.
I don't know how I maneuver racism and sexism. I think when it happens, to the earlier question, I think we try to address it. I personally right now don't have any specific tactics. Some days I deal with it, I think well, other days I don't deal with it well. Some days I can brush it off, some days it makes me cry. So I think it's something I'm still learning how to deal with. I truly don't have an answer. I think it's it's day by day, situation by situation. I think living in New York kind of gives you this idea that it doesn't, not that it doesn't exist, especially now we see it enough, but that people here don't think that way. And then you're reminded sometimes that is not the case, more times than I think I would like to admit. So yeah, I just try to take it day by day, situation by situation, but I don't know that I have like a strong tactic. I think some things work for some people in situations and other ways work for other times.
I agree with you as well. Like, I guess because I just returned to the workforce and it's been like 5 years. So I don't necessarily deal with like too much racism. I only been working for 2 weeks. But prior to, like, I I've worked for myself, and I also surround myself with pretty much people of color. And now that I think about it, that's probably not healthy because I'm so like, I just don't want the responsibility of certain things when it comes to certain types of people. And I'm realizing now that I only hang out with people of color, and I only surround myself in spaces where I can thrive. Like, I don't want someone telling me, oh, because you're this or you're that, you can't do this and you can't do that, and being limited. I'm not the type of person who just goes with that. Like, I can't. That's just not a part of my personality. So I guess racism and sexism, I can't tell you a time that like pinpoint a oh my god moment, because I come from a family of mulatto people, where I'm white and black. So I feel like at some point or another there has probably been some like favoritism with my lighter skin toned cousins and like things of that nature. But other than that, like, I think I'm fortunate to not have to deal with it in adulthood. Going back to what you said, you know, in elementary school and stuff like that. I've dealt with it when I was younger, but as an adult, not so much, because I have I'm able to pick and choose where I'm gonna be at and how I'm gonna, who I'm gonna surround myself with.
Well, I appreciate you guys being honest on that, like having an exact way to deal with it, because I think, like Camille said, it's kind of a one-off situation. Like, you really never know until you're in it. Like, because even going back to my situation, it's like you'll think like, oh, I have mix in my bag, I have a key knife, I have this, I have that, but then when it actually happens, it's like all that shit just goes out the window. It's like I'm not thinking about it. Like, you don't know what you're going to do when you're in it, so you really never know.
I also find that if something like that was to happen to me, the first thing I wouldn't think of it as, oh, racism. I would probably try to talk myself out of it being racism, to an extent.
Yeah.
I find that I probably can't pinpoint the time because I talk myself out of it.
That's true too. There are like instances where it is so subtle that you do have to have the moment, like Yolanda had, where it's like, hold on, what? Did that really just happen? That wasn't right. That
Are you
didn't-
stupid?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
Stupid, simple, or smart.
The next question is, how do you continue to find your lane in your career path?
I mean, I definitely want to get to a point where I'm working for myself, because I mean, where I am now, like the previous jobs I've had, I'm like, oh my god, I want to work here, and then I'm like, back to the why, like why? And it's like, it's this struggle. It's like, I'm like making so much money for this company, and it doesn't like, thinks I'm disposable. And so it's just like, I want to create a lane for myself in like business. Like, I think entrepreneurship now is like the way to go. And so that's kind of like in the future where I'm working towards, just working for myself. That's gonna be my main, not having to answer to anyone else and build someone else's company. I would just build my own. So
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Especially as a writer, I can't wait for the day. I mean, I'm sure as a lot of you can relate to this too, where you don't owe specific content to certain situations or brands because it's sponsored. Like, my ultimate dream and goal is to like create this hub of like creatives where it's just not graphic design or editing, but it's also showcasing the different talents that we all have, because sometimes we can't see our talents. And we've been in situations and in jobs that we're doing the same thing. We're like, I'm just go for this. This is what I love. Like, I should love to do this. And then your friend's like, oh my god, you were so happy. Like, when you were doing X, Y, and Z, maybe you should do more of that. And then out of nowhere, you become like a billionaire doing that. And it's because when you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life. And you constantly do it. So for me, it's like being creative and also being open to the entrepreneurship lifestyle, because the way I was taught was you go to college, you get a job, you get a 401k and benefits, and that's it. So when you talk to, at least especially because I come from a family too of blue collar jobs and white collar jobs, and it's very much like cookie cutter, like you got a pension waiting for you, hopefully a house if you're good. So getting out of that fear and connecting more with like my entrepreneur friends, if they're just starting out or they're in the middle, they've got like a really big, platform that they're selling or e-commerce, like just getting comfortable talking about them, because knowledge is power, and when you don't know certain things, it doesn't make you less than or dumb or stupid. Just gotta ask questions, so I always try and provoke myself to ask challenging questions, and to get more creative and doing. I'm such a procrastinator, so I have to do. If I'm not doing, it's not getting done. And that's something I've had to learn about within the past year or so. Because I have all these ideas, which I'm sure everybody always does, and then the execution is just like, ooh, but that's that fear, that fear. So I try and, at least even also taking part in moments like this, for me at least, it's so much bigger than myself, because I hope everyone sitting out here can one day see themselves on a panel just as much. Because I used to always think, I used to go to so many panels, and I'm like, dang, I can't wait till the day. Am I ready? Do people care what I say? Maybe someone cares. But it's moments like this where you're like, yeah, I can do that entrepreneurship, or I can have my own company of some sort, and that's definitely the dream for especially women of color, people of color, because we're so thriving in this moment.
And we push culture forward, so we
Yeah,
got to
right.
what's
Yeah,
happening.
we are.
Yeah.
We are the culture.
Like now we just need to have ownership in that.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important. So
And push back too to brands that don't really value our dollar. I sit in meetings constantly all day long talking about how much the Latina power, buying power is, and I literally had lunch and learns, I believe that's what they're called now, with people, and they sit across from me, biggest smiles, good attention. They're like, the Hispanic and Black community are just not our target right now, and I'm just idiot.
So much
And
work.
I know, and it's
flabbergasted.
yeah. So it's like putting that really small percentage.
It doesn't make sense.
So now what I do now, and this has been something talking about doing 6 months, I intentionally, if someone I know is has a shirt, I'm buying a shirt today, for sure.
Yeah.
I will put my money there. Just because, it's true. Just because we have to get into the habit of well, how did that big corporation become just putting a name out there? How did L'Oreal become L'Oreal? People were investing, people were buying. So if your friend has a makeup line and maybe their lipsticks are $20, you're like, damn, that's a lot of money. But then you think about it, it's so much bigger than that. I spent $20 on Chipotle or whatever. Might as well, but systematically, I guess it's trying to unlearn the things that we've learned so long, and that's how I try and think now.
And really breaking it down.
And break it
too.
down,
Because at the
yeah.
end of the day, the people like H&M and all these brands, they have people backing those brands.
Yeah.
They have people who are allowing them to make those things $10.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have that. I don't know where. I just read something where it's a very, very small percentage where these beauty brands, Black beauty brands, are getting these backers or this support for their brand. So yeah. But for me, I think the number one way I'm paving my way is being my full self, and being okay with being my full self. I think that's the number one thing, because we're often taught, don't do that. I remember even within my own culture, I had a sorority sister who, back in the day when I had a little Fantasia hair. It was growing out because I didn't trust any hairstylist, and my sorority sister's like, just mind it down. And I'm just like, dang. And so it's just not only being your full self, but allowing those around you to be their full selves as well, and being that person to encourage them. Because at the end of the day, a lot of your lane that's being paid it's those people around you helping you too. I went to the Pierre Moss show, and he just is amazing.
oh my God.
He is amazing.
That was amazing.
Everybody on his team was his friends. These people who have been working. He just anybody. His personal assistant was one of the stylists for the show.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so just not only like being that your full self, but also like making sure that you're encouraging that around you too, and being that light to like kind of being out. So I think that's like my number one way of how I'm dating.
The late great Nipsey Hussle said, "There's no there's no traffic in your lane. If you stay in your lane, there's no traffic." And to your point, just you were just saying, I think what helps you create your lane is others and those around you. Somebody can be going a little faster than you while you're here, but you might pick up the pace. It's just, I think it's just a matter of like thinking about it. You can't get anywhere without going through it. Like you have to keep going, and if that is you waking up every morning and telling yourself. Some days I literally have to be like, okay, today is Tuesday. This is what we're doing. I'm doing this at this time. And you know, some people might think it's crazy, but you have to talk to yourself, and you have to remind. I mean, you are living inside of yourself. Like you can close your mouth. I don't have to be talking, but still hear myself. So I think if you really sort of find your intuition, and find that voice inside and talk to her or he or they, however many times you need to a day. I think that's where it lies, like all within, because if I'm good in here, I'm able to help those around me.
What was the question again?
Because how do you continue to find your lane in your career path?
I guess, I don't know, I just created, like, I kind of became a designer or whatever, through being so depressed. Like, I bought a sewing machine, $40 on Craigslist, because that's all I could afford, because I'm so broke. And I started making pillows, and just like, that became a source of therapy for me, like just sewing every day. I couldn't go to work, so I would get up every day and just sew, and I was just like, oh, this is kind of fun, like this is cool. I stopped making pillows and started making like leggings, and like trying to figure out how to make things. And then I finally went back to school and, you know, learned the basics of design and production and all those things. And me going back to school and learning those things on top of pattern making and quality control and all those things, I feel like I'm such a great asset to myself and to a company. But why would I go to a company where 9 times out of 10 I'm not going to be happy after 6 months to a year, and give them my better years? Like, why should I do that? So now that I am back in the work field, it's kind of difficult, because I feel like when I'm at work doing simple stuff, especially in the fashion industry, babysitting clothes all day. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So I find that if, like, I started, you know, giving sewing lessons, and like people who are in the industry, like giving them the resources, because the fashion industry is so like secret. Where do you get t-shirts from? My grandma makes them. Like, no, don't lie. Like, tell me who you get your t-shirts from. Like, I find that that's a great source. Yeah, people, they will lie about everything just because they don't want. They feel like, oh, you make hoodies.
Yeah,
I make hoodies.
Yeah.
We can make the same types of hoodies. No, you can get them in blue. I get them in purple, or we can get the same color, and we gonna see who's is more fire. And that really grinds my gears. But also, I have to find a fine line between allowing people to take advantage of that knowledge and like sucking you dry, and giving that knowledge and being like, okay, now you go on and be, you know, you teach somebody else something. You teach somebody else how to use X, Y, and Z. A lot of people don't do that. They want to, oh, you gave me the resources, or maybe get my tags and this, that, and the third, but they don't want to give those same resources to someone else. And I found that I had to stop doing that, because I'm giving myself to people, and they don't want to continue to give. What's the point? I should be selfish too. And you also don't want to pay me for my services. So I just find that in being at service to others, that's how I paved my way. I feel like.
I do want to touch on, because I think all of us here are entrepreneurial, but I think there's a different kind of discipline for working for a company. I think it's just different, and I don't think necessarily one is always better than the other. I think there is sort of, especially a revolution in the Black communities and communities of color to be very entrepreneurial, and we can help ourselves and have small businesses. And all that is important, and honestly, you know, communities of color have been having small businesses forever. Your dad went to a barbershop, that's a small business.
The man selling those bootleg videos.
It's a small business. So don't let this society make us feel like we haven't already been doing that. But I think there's importance and there's ways to grow within a company. I think sometimes it can be more difficult in fashion and beauty because it's just, like you said, it's sort of like sacred space that people don't want to stain. But I do think that there's growth within both of those things. I just wanted to touch on that because I think there's a lot of attention paid to being an entrepreneur, but being a boss is not easy. I don't want to be a boss. I'm happy to work for myself. But having employees and having to take care of people
it's really big.
is a really difficult task.
Sometimes it's easier to just get up and go to work. And you just like all hands to 8 to whatever. And then also that can become taxing.
Totally,
So there's nothing there's no one thing that's right or wrong.
Correct.
I feel like right now, actually, there's 2 weeks. Wait till it gets to 6 months.
We'll see.
But the 2 conjunction are cool, but it's just, it gets difficult when you just like, I could be doing something else right now. Like I could be doing something more purposeful. Like making clothes is what I do, but I feel like what I really do is make women feel good. When somebody puts something on and actually being able to see, like, I made this with my hands and I sewed this together, and you have a woman that, that comes into your space and it's like, I want this, and I want that. And you feel their confidence and the lack of confidence. But as soon as they put on whatever I made for them, they're like, oh my God. And like, I set up my space so women can feel that way, not only women, but men as well. And I feel like that's where I really, that's what keeps me doing what I'm doing. But if you're behind the scenes and you're not really like impacting someone, like I need to see that, not speed, but I need to see that you feel good or feel great about something that I made. It went from a thought to an actual product, and that's just so rewarding.
And I honestly think for me, like I'm not full-time blogger on purpose. Like my job let me go in March, and it just so happened that my blog's like making money at the same exact time. Credit that Scott. But I am still looking for work. I am looking for employment, but I think I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't want to hate my job. I don't want to have that depression around like, dang, I'm doing something else. So not only are we sitting at this interview and you're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you. And I'm bringing that to your attention. I'm saying things like, I want to be a part of a company where I know I'm growing. I want to be a part of a company where I know I'm learning. And it's like about doing that research. Like for me, I know now that my thing is, even though it's stressful, I like small businesses and startups. That's what I like, and it's about learning who you are and what you do well and what environment you work well in. That helped, because I knew for me, I was like, I can't be a part of this type of company. I can't, I'm not just taking a job to take a job, because at the end of the day, God did tell me I am less. And so I had to really kind of be more picky, and it's not a luxury for everybody. I get that. It's not like, oh, I need this job tomorrow. I cannot say no. But it also is like, for me now, I'm not rich, I'm broke sometimes, and it's like I just have to pick certain things over that. I have to pick my health, my mental health, my health. I have to pick what I know will benefit me. I can't just keep taking jobs to take jobs, because when they're done, I'm gonna be the one sitting there like, what the fuck was I doing at that job, bro? Like, why was I there for 2 whole years? you have to like really be like, I'm not saying everyone's gonna be an entrepreneur, but it is still making sure you're taking care of yourself when you are going to those jobs that you're looking into.
Even as an entrepreneur, taking care of yourself and taking the time to be like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do this because I'm not there right now. Like I can't handle taking on another task. But what or who inspires you?
Y'all.
I know.
Black women.
Yeah.
I keep saying black women, but I really do mean women of color. Black people, we always want to draft everybody. But I do mean women of color.
I would say my friends, like I have amazing friends who are all so talented, and I'm just like, who are so talented, like smart. There's some that are like more in academia and doing their second masters in Macau. I barely made it through, undergrad, and I have talented creatives that are around, business savvy people are around. So I'm just like, everyone who's kind of like found their lane, found their skill set, and capitalized on that. And a lot of the people I surround myself with push me to find out within myself and do that as well. So definitely, like, I would say my group of friends are like very inspirational and motivating.
Yeah, for sure. My friends are literally my pillars. I refer to them as like my sisters or like my angels in my life, because literally like, and specifically recently, and I just had a nephew, so I have like this new like love, and my best friend is a new mom as well. Like I have this such big obsession with new moms and young moms, and it doesn't matter. I'm just like, wow, that's a hard job.
Yeah.
Like legit hardest job probably, hands down. I can't even think, like I'm still taking care of myself, like on a day-to-day basis. So when I think of inspiration, I don't think about celebrities, I don't think about the big people, because I think about the everyday heroes I get to experience in my life. And I honestly get inspired, by people who show up. Like, you guys had, and Jay-Z said it so many times, you had all of his beats tonight in the world, and that's special, like, that's inspiring, because that inspires me to go support someone else, and another woman of color, another person that I know that they're starting something bigger than myself. And even if I don't understand it, I want to go and support. So that's how I stay inspired, and I'm obsessed with Pinterest. I'm so yeah. So I'll just like inspiration quotes all day long, just to get me out of myself, and just it also inspires me when I see humans do something nice for other people. I'm like, oh my god, did you see that? Because it's like we don't really get those moments so much. It sucks. So when you can see them and witness it, you're like, this place isn't so bad.
I think this is just gonna be a real saying. My friends. I think my friends and my family. Just being around people who, because sometimes you can't see what they see in yourselves. It's so easy to be like, you're cool, but like, once again, it's hard for me sometimes to say that to myself, or to give myself that same like reward. So it's like, it's helpful to have those friends who are telling you like, girl, you are awesome, you're doing this, you're doing that. I had one person who like for a whole day told me this, and I was just like, granted, it made me feel awkward because I am awkward. But it was still like, damn, I'm like, I'm out here like dogging myself. And like, there's people who are, and not even just telling me one person, but it's like a consistent thing across the board, and you're just like, when are you gonna actually take the time to believe these things that these people are saying to you? So that there, I definitely have friends who are inspiration. And also just like, sometimes what keeps me inspired is taking a step back. Sometimes we're so full into it, and we're so into it that we don't just take that break to clear our minds and start fresh. So for me, I do need that.
I was actually gonna say new moms too. A few of my friends just had children, and I think this is a full human. Like we were all infants at one point, and like needed someone to feed us and hold us, and couldn't hold our head ups. Like it's just it's crazy. So I think the idea kids and babies in your life is like, oh shit, like I came from that and now here I am. So that for sure. And this is something I've been thinking about recently because the train is always crowded in the morning, and some mornings want to be like, is everybody okay? Like, are we all okay? Like, I know we're all on the train together, but does anyone it's really stupid, but I want to know, does anyone need a job? Like, we were hiring at my job recently, and I was like, I'm just like, we're all on this train, we're so quiet, and God forbid someone gets on and starts screaming about Jesus. Or that person, everybody wants to hear their emotions. Yeah, I love Showtime. But I think just like being in this space with strangers every morning is a weird inspiration for me. It's like, all right, well, what do you can make up stories there. What do you want to do today? Like, where is she headed? Is she okay? Is he okay? So I think for me, I think that's why New York is inspiring for me. I think a lot of it in New York is this like glamorous ideal, but I think for me, really, it's the people in my neighborhood that I see every morning walking down the block to the train. It is the people with the Bibles, but every morning he says good morning to me at Ocean Avenue, and I'm just like, who are you? Like, like what are you after? And maybe we can help each other in some way. So, strangers are pretty inspiring.
I definitely am inspired most by struggle. I know that
I was gonna say that.
Whether it be heartbreak, that's when I thrive.
Yeah.
Break my heart. Heartbreak, like that will inspire the shit out of me. I've been at my best. I'm inspired by, like you said, strangers. Like there's this guy that lives not too far from not lives, but he's a homeless guy that's not too far from my apartment. And he, for a really long time, I would see him like really cold. He was really like dirty and things like that. And I was inspired by him one day where he just like created a job for himself. And he started to like change his clothes. He started thrifting and stuff. And that inspired me because he made a way out of nothing. Now he's the guy that keeps Atlantic spiffy. Like Atlantic, when I get on that train, the other day I got on the train, I was like, you know what? Let me go get him a sandwich and some water. It's warm out today, and I know he's hungry. That was my source of inspiration for the month. I'm inspired by so many things. I'm inspired by other women. I'm definitely inspired by you. You have you've given me an opportunity to touch on what I've gone through. You inspired. I'm inspired by you. Like you worked so hard. Like when I first met you, you had just came back from London or wherever you were, and you were just trying to figure out how to do things, how to get things done. Exactly, but you did it. And I'm like, now I'm going on like, will you get your screen print thing? So I'm consistently inspired. I'm inspired by you guys, and you guys. But yeah, I'm consistently being inspired.
Well, I just wanted to say I'm inspired by all of the women here. That's part of the reason why you're on the panel. I also, like we said, inspired by struggles. Like I know when I was a copywriter, I was so fucking depressed. Like it was crazy sitting, like you literally felt like you were chained to your desk so that you could hit your quota. So I started watching videos on YouTube of like literally celebrities, especially Will Smith, because he has a special place in my heart. Another Libra gang. He when celebrities sit and talk about like all the things that they have had to overcome, and like they had a whole other path set out for them in their life, and the way it just switched, or just all the things that they had to overcome in general, where like most people. Like I know I have a friend that she used to have like everything planned out. Like I'm gonna be this by this age, this by that age, and I'm like, I was never that type of person. but to know that there's other people that had that plan and then things didn't kick off for them until they was like 35, 40, 50, 60, and it's like, okay, so there's definitely still time for me to figure this If that didn't pop for you and now you're a billionaire, like, okay, I can figure this out. The key is just being consistent, and not even consistent, because I can't say that I'm a consistent person, because sometimes I really be like, you know what, fuck this shit, I can't right now. But to just stick with it and be like, okay, I'm not doing it tomorrow or today, but I'm gonna pick it back up next week, and it's gonna be okay, because I'm gonna still stick with it some way, somehow, and keep going. So like, just watching struggle and like being, especially like the people in my life, like being creative, and like I used to model, so I used to work with a lot of photographers, seeing them come up, and now a lot of them are like low-key famous and doing big fucking advertisements and big fucking events. It's just like, I'm happy that I could be here to witness the way that you overcame and the way that you've grown. Like, I've never been the person to be like, damn, why are you bragging and I'm not? Like, I want to see everybody win. Like, everybody up here, I have you here because I want to see you win. Like, I want you to use this some way, somehow as a platform. Like, even if it's not like the biggest platform, it's still you touching other people, which is the same thing that I'm trying to do with the panel, with the documentary, so that people know that there is a voice that you can connect to some way, somehow.
I think you hit that on the head, especially with doing an event like this. I think you were talking about this earlier, like going to other panels. Because I think this is like big thing, but this is a panel, like, and we are all enjoying this conversation and expressing ourselves and learning about each other and about others. So I think the scale doesn't matter. That's not what's important. The important thing is just doing it. Which you were just saying. I think that the act is happening. So we're already on our way.
Well, we're almost done. There's just 2 more questions. What is one thing you wish you knew back then that you would tell your younger self?
That was in college. The college experience was great. I mean, it was an expensive experience, but I met like a lot of amazing people. I went to 2 different schools, so initially was a double major, did pre-med and political science. Then dropped pre-med and just did political science. And then my senior year, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do this anymore. I need to find myself. And my parents are pissed because being African, you don't do that. You gotta find yourself.
You're here.
I never felt like I belonged anywhere. I was like, okay, I fit in, but not all the way in. And I went to art school. I was like, oh, my people, like, this is where it's at. And so since then, I mean, I would tell myself back then, just like, I wish I would find the cheaper routes to go about that, but also just that you are telling my younger self that it's okay to be weird, it's okay to be awkward, that you're gonna find your tribe.
Yeah, for me, I would say it would be don't sweat the small stuff, or it's not that serious, and don't take things personal. I recently just reread a book called The 4 Agreements, and it is golden. If you don't, it's so good. I told a friend, it's so good. But one of the agreements is not to take things personal, because we create our heaven and our hell. And I wish I could tell myself that when I was younger, just because I love to make up stories. I'm a storyteller by nature. So, left to my own devices, I will make up crazy stories about why things happen to me. So, in that, I would say, like, it's not that serious. Don't take it personal. You're not that big of a deal, mama. You have it, but relax. Because we get so caught up, and thank God I'm not growing in this age where, like, Instagram is gold, and, like, selfies, and, like, I'm glad I was in the AIM, the Mi Gente,
I would say is give yourself time. Like, we are so in a rush for what? Like, what are you rushing? You cannot, like, your purpose, you already in it. Like, there's no messing it up. It's not, it's wherever you end up is where you were meant to be. And I think I had to realize that from even like, it even clicked when I was talking to my little brother. My little brother, he is confused with what he wants to do, and I'm totally fine with that, because at first he wanted to go to the military, then he was gonna, because I'm from a military town, and that's by default that everyone's like, I don't know if I'm gonna go to college, military. And then he was like, I'm going to community college, which I agree with you, but I don't agree with it. Like, I agree with cheaper route,
Yeah.
but I do believe in giving yourself time to find the route that you want to go, because no matter where you go, that's still money you're spending that you may not. Like, I've seen people blow a lot of money at a community college because they had retake classes, do all this stuff. But it really was like, take a break. Especially for me, like, I'm from most of Black culture sometimes it's like, okay, you're 18, get out. It's time to go figure out what you want to do, and that's so crazy. I would never kick my child out, especially now being in New York, being able to see these different cultures where they have their family members living with them until they figure their shit out, and they figure it out so well. And so I'm just like telling my little brother, because it's now that generation, it's not the same anymore for Black kids. They are staying at their homes longer, and I'm like, stay here. Your mom ain't saying stay here. Like, don't be out here, you know, allow yourself to experience life. Allow yourself to do some, some fuck shit. Like, allow yourself to go through these journeys, because you have that ability now. And then you always seem somehow to end up where you are. Like, I know for me, getting fired from my job, and I would have never been doing these things that I've done in these last 6 months if I didn't have that. Like, I'm doing dinner parties. What? I'm studying fashion. I'm giving dinner parties and stuff. You know, so it was just like, and having that time allowed me to get to that spot. And so it's just really, give yourself time.
I think I would tell my younger self that you're okay and you're good enough.
Yes, you are.
I think so. I was sheltered in the sense of, like, you know, I grew up in a suburb and I went to a private school and I had a car and everything was fine. Like, I went to movies on the weekends and hung out with friends. I didn't really like get into too much trouble. And so when I had sort of a different kind of freedom in college, I was not of I think emotional maturity to deal with that. So I kind of had my very mild version of Girls Gone Wild. I was like, oh shit, I can literally go wherever I want. What? There was just this freedom that I didn't know what to do with. And so I thought I had to be a certain kind of person while I was there. I partied a lot in college. My senior year, I was like, yeah, well, I've done all the partying I can do, so I'm gonna go. And I think while I would not change my experience at all, I think I learned a lot about myself, and I didn't go too deep off the end. I think what sort of happened before that was that I deal with I'm in this school, I'm at this place around these kinds of people, so this is who I have to be. So I think I didn't sort of allow myself to be me. So I think I would just tell myself I am enough. I'm good.
What I would tell my younger self? Definitely to live for myself. I come from a family. I have 3 male boy siblings. And for most of my younger years, I was always living to please them. Oh, you can't do I couldn't do daddy things. Doing daddy things was not a thing. Couldn't do it. It's not allowed. I was always looking to not only please my parents, but to please my brothers. Oh, look, I'm the best little sister ever, and I'm not this, and I am that, and I'm smart, and I'm beautiful, and I'm this. And I was always looking for their approval, not for other people's approval. I didn't care about anybody else's approval, but I was always looking for their approval. And that I got a little bit older, and then I was seeking some sort of approval, but also rejecting it. Oh, I don't need anybody's approval, but I kind of sort of was seeking some approval. And now that I not looking for nobody else. I'm making sure if I do something stupid, I did something stupid and I'll be alright with that. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would say something. Live for yourself.
Okay. The last thing is not a question per se, it's a statement, which I want you to finish the statement. Ashley may be familiar with this because she's actually in the documentary which inspired this panel. For those that don't know, I'm working on a documentary about women of color, and the documentary is called it's gonna be called Don't Touch My Crown. So in that, there's a statement of don't touch my crown, blank. I will start it off. Don't touch my crown because you cannot handle it.
Yeah.
Now you guys can finish your own statement of don't touch my crown.
Well, I think I have one. Don't touch my crown, it doesn't fit you.
Similar.
That made me chill.
Yes. For me, it's don't touch my crown. It's not yours to have.
Yes.
For me, it's don't touch my crown, it's untouchable.
Next.
I don't want to go.
I don't know. Don't touch my crown. Because I said so.
I guess don't touch my crown because I'm not done yet.
Do you have a new one?
That's it. That was like
Because I said
I'm gonna text you. Why don't I touch my crown? Well, that concludes all of my questions. I don't know if any of you guys have a few questions that you want to ask the panel. Otherwise, we can just mix and mingle for a second. There's still wine in the back. I can put music back on and we can commence.
Question.
no questions.
This question is for Reese. You mentioned earlier that you have some white and some black in your family, and that there's a little favoritism that goes on. I wanted to know, how do you deal with colorism in your family?
Like I said, I don't put myself in spaces where I like to experience racism. I mean, everybody has their dysfunctional family members and like family parts and all that other stuff. I'm really so my family's from the South. And, while we all look different ways because of the sleep. I wouldn't say it's so much my immediate family. It's more of my like cousins, and I don't really be around like that. So that's how I deal with it. Which is probably not the healthiest way. I probably should address some of the things that my family members say. But to me, I pick my battles, and that's not one to push back against, I guess.
Thank you.
You guys spoke about dealing with sexism and racism and having to teach, right? So why do we have to teach? Like, at what point, and it sounds crazy, but at what point are other people gonna learn everything that we have to learn, or have to, step out the door and have to make sure I don't do this, I have to make sure I don't say that, I have to, why do we have to teach them? I remember starting in fashion here years ago, about, I've been here 9 years, so 9 years ago, and they made a joke, Obama, and I was like, what? What did she just say? And I'm light, so they thought I was mixed. I don't know why they even felt comfortable, and I didn't address it. I'm young, new to the city. I didn't address it, but it's bothered me for years. I'm still talking about it. How did you even have the audacity to say something like that? Why do I need to teach you that? When we are forced to have to learn everything, and I guess like you, I don't put myself in certain places and spaces, and then that's a whole nother issue because now you're surrounded with black people, and that's a whole nother set of problems that you're gonna deal with, right? But like, why do you? I mean, yes, address it. I know the answer, but it's like, you know.
It's unfortunate, and I hate to say this, and I'm not saying it's going to be forever, but right now in our lifetime, I don't believe it's going to be something that we're not going to continue to address. Because until the day that the other culture takes ownership of what they have done, it will always be something we're addressing, unfortunately. I think it is for our mental health to figure out a way to not get frustrated by it. And not saying not get frustrated by the comment, because that was fun. But like, how do we teach? Because I know my teaching wasn't always like, by the way, it's like, I'm like, excuse me? It was
Right,
more like
yeah.
that.
Black girl.
Yeah. And it was so, it just had to be how for me, what I needed to do for me.
Yeah.
But there will be times, you know, we're doing something right now, even being in this room, we're doing something that's for our children, that's for generations after us. Because I just wrote a piece on, it was a piece on what a time to be black in fashion. And in that article, I made sure to say, it is not because this industry is all inclusive. It is not because this industry is not ran by white men. It is not because of that. It is because of what my ancestors have done to get me to this comfort of where I am now. That's what it is. And so I think, unfortunately, we're still in a phase where we are going to be ancestors. And you know, not saying that everyone's not going to be ancestors, but where we're still going to be the ones paving the way.
Because essentially they don't teach us anything. We have to know it.
Oh,
We have to
yeah,
show it
absolutely.
and know it.
Like, I feel like crap sometimes living in New York because there's certain things about my own culture I don't even know because I'm from Virginia. Virginia.
And it's racist.
And I'm like, wait a minute, the Black Panthers were good? Like, you know, things like that. Like, granted, I could have learned that on my own, but I come from a mom who dropped out of school at 14. You know, I didn't have those luxuries. And so it was just like disheartening to like be around that and not know these things. So there's a lot.
I think also, back to what she was saying before about not taking things personally.
Yeah.
Is a huge way to deal with that because don't internalize it because, like you said, it's still bothering you. And unfortunately, yeah, we as Black women of color, really, we are always in this position of always having to teach. Like that's just like, and it's
Teach them.
yeah, we're always having to teach. And for me personally, I feel like this is an information age. I choose when and to do it. Sometimes I'm just like, that's not I'm not gonna waste my energy on that, especially if I'm drunk or whatever. And then sometimes I'm just like, no, I'm tired today. You're gonna put my mouth. So I think it's just I mean, definitely speak up.
Yeah.
But don't feel that every moment you have to speak.
Exactly.
And don't beat yourself up that you did.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like if you have the patience and you're at a company that needs that education, you can empower yourself and create a role for you to educate people on certain things. I've seen a friend of mine do it. He would go to work every day and be like, damn, like, they really don't understand. Like, they take it from our culture. They're, you know, like, all these things. They were just doing a whole lot. So he decided to, you know, speak to the higher ups, and they created a job for him to educate the people at the company. So you wanna,
And I admire those companies. Like, yeah, it's a PR move for some companies.
Diversity.
But
Cushion.
there are some companies.
I hate those
So much. But there are some companies who are just like so.
Right.
Like Revolve is a so company. Revolve is like, oh, you don't like the fact that we only use these tall, skinny white women? That's
Right, we want to buy the next week.
And then we call it diversity because this Brazilian lady who is totally
Right.
she's Brazilian though.
Sexualized.
Yeah. And it's like, and so it's still like, they take that approach. They take that I don't give a crap approach.
Because they don't have to.
They don't
They
have
don't
to.
have to.
And so I do respect those companies that even like, okay, let's even encourage this for it. Because at the end of the day, they're still learning things, even if it's who
Yeah.
they still have to be in that environment, those meetings, even if it's a PR.
Yeah.
So in those moments, I was kind of saying this earlier, but not that I remove myself from the Black woman position, but in those moments when I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna take the time now to explain to you or help you understand, because I don't want to just talk at you. Let's talk through this. I'm just a person on this planet that is trying to help someone else on this planet navigate in a more empathetic way. So in those moments, I try not to take it personally and come from a place of like, what the fuck? And it's more like, well, that's actually incorrect. And so so that you understand it, because I mean, what we will not say in America is like everything's racist. It is literally like
The foundation of the country is built
100%. So we talk around that a lot, but us saying that, right, we understand that, but I think most people don't get that, so you kind of, that's when nuances come and things like that. But to that situation based, I think I try to take myself out of it and just let it be a moment of eureka for some people. Because I think a lot of, 9 times out of 10, if you approach it the correct way, they, at least in the moment,
They'll act like they don't.
yes.
And they go home.
And it does have them thinking twice, like you were talking about your person who you, wait, was it you? You took someone to the side, and they now think like women of color, like they're changing. They're very conscious, they have to be. And like, so now like, maybe when they have those conversations outside of with you, and you
Hopefully.
But even just right, like subconsciously, she's corrected.
Even that,
Yeah.
she could've just
I
been like,
had to ask myself, is it because I'm here?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's
Well, it's a start.
Exactly.
It's gonna be that way.
And she's gonna tell her girlfriends at brunch, like, Black girls don't like to be called Black, they like to be called women of color. So now a few other white women know,
and she
maybe
might
you
have
should,
said it, she might have been exasperated when she
Yeah.
said it,
but still, at least it's
the
a
words are
conversation,
said.
you know?
Yeah.
I would definitely say the importance is starting the conversation. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it's annoying sometimes, but I would say even as a Black woman, I have had to learn things about other cultures.
Yes.
Because like Yolanda said, growing up in the DMV area, everybody's separated. Like, you might have a few people that mix and mingle, but it's like, all you know is I'm Black, you white, you some kind of Spanish. My best friend can tell you the whole story of like how we became friends because everybody on the bus thought that she was Spanish or Latina, and I was the one person that was sitting there like, I don't see it, she looked black. After living in New York for 9 years, I'm able to be like, bitch, you do look Dominican. Like now I'm able to actually be like, okay, this person is probably from DR, this person's probably Puerto Rican, this person's probably Korean, this person's probably Chinese. Like I can actually look at people's features and tell what they are now because I'm able to act like I've been around it, I've interacted with people to learn more about different cultures, to know the differences. So it's like even as a Black woman, we can still be guilty of the same thing and get mad at other people for it. It's just a matter of having the conversation to educate somebody to be like, you know what, that was kind of offensive. Let's take this back and let me tell you why, so that you don't do that shit again. At least not in front of me. That's the first step of you possibly getting it buried into your subconscious to know. Okay, don't do it in front of other people that look like her.
Right, and
You are normally surprised as a Black woman, like, oh, you're Filipino, like, this is blah, blah, blah. And then like, oh, so you're not Filipino, like I'm not like, just Asian or whatever, people they then look at you in a different way because you're educated. You know what I'm saying?
Can you be an educated white person or an educated Filipino?
By
and
default,
know
but
like-
the thing is, by default, they're perceived as being educated and wealthy and this and that. And if you're anything less than, you know, they have their ways of saying you're less than. You know, so.
One is like they say they'll call us ghetto, or you know.
White trash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, do you know what a ghetto really is? It's Jewish people, your people are from the ghetto, actually. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you even know your history and your culture? Like, it's
That's
just
the problem.
frustrating.
You know what I would do too? I used to take things so personal and like I used to play things back, and journaling has been my saving grace. Even just saying I'm upset at this moment at this person, and I'm upset at myself for carrying it for whatever amount of time, and that has helped. Which is why I've been able to take moments and like educate people. I don't see it sometimes as educating it. I see it as just like trying to connect with another human, because I feel like we're so like systematically we're kind of taught to go against each other sometimes and be like crabs in a bucket effect. And I see it a lot, specifically like with colorism, and you know, I'm always just like, dang, we just try and connect. Find like one little thing that you may have in common with a person. Granted, if they're going in,
And they
don't
are
get
nice,
people,
they're
give them the time and
like,
space.
you know, everybody has their
Everybody has
thing.
their thing. But if you're gonna be spending constant time with this person and you're kind of like in a work setting where you have to make
The problem was I was like the first black girl to ever work there, so they never had to censor themselves or think about what's rolling
And
off
that's
their tongue.
crazy when you think about that idea.
Exactly.
You're like,
the
wow,
first
what do you
thing
say? What do you say when there's like no black people around? And it's
Exactly.
Like,
They were Peruvian, so they would speak Spanish in the office, and then I heard Morena, and I was like, you all are all browner than me, so I don't know like why you're referring to me as, and I was still newer to New York. I guess it was, they were like, oh, it's more of a tongue of the journey, and that's how they talk. I don't know, but I was just like, just refer to me as Paris, like that's fine, that works best, and you know.
I completely connect and agree with everything you say, because I work for a Spaniard company, so they're very, how do I say, European favored. So when I came into their group, everything was like negra, and morena, and when I hear that, I have triggers.
And
that's what threw me over the wagon, and this was from a Venezuelan, what's it called, colleague. She said mona, and to me, I think that's monkey in English. I was like, oh no. So I had to talk to, I was like, did she just say that?
Wow.
Like, bitch,
So I was just like, oh no, I can't let this slide. So I went up to him like, because I'm like, why would you call me that? Whatever. She's like, oh my god, in Spain, that means like cute, beautiful, and everything. I said, well, in the U.S. So I told her, I was like, that's cool and all, but we don't know each other that well. And this is like 2 weeks on the job that I had, and I was like, and in the United States, that translates to monkey. That translates to the N word. I don't like to be called Morena. You can call me Ashley. Simple, that's my name. Been doing it for 20 plus years. It seems to be working for me. And it's just like that education portion, because when she called me out, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, and even my grandmother would never like say, and in DR, those phrases like morena or like negra, they are used as terms of endearment, but since my grandmother knows, and we're Dominican, and we also celebrate all the diversity within being Latina, that we would never. We would rather say like linda, pretty, like there's so many words to describe a woman.
And that's
like, why do we have to focus on the color of my skin? For this moment, like why are we doing it? So I completely connect with you on that, but journaling has been like my go-to, and just like really, you know, thinking about it, and then like burning it, girl, burning, right out, let it go, write it down, burn it down. I never got it. Don't think about your house.
I know you have a question, but one last, I'm sorry. So basically, like what she was saying about not taking it personal, when you're dating someone and they do something you don't like, do you not say to them like, hey babe, I'm not a fan of this? And you connect, like, so sometimes that's where it has to be like, I know, but it's still like a relationship in a
Yeah.
way. It's still like, and it sucks. It's still a matter of understanding that he doesn't know how to treat you a certain way because he's not born with you,
Right.
raised with you, because he's learning you. So it's the same thing as like some of these cultures where, of course, being the first black woman in this office, you wanted to have to
Yes.
teach them everything.
Yeah.
But so yeah.
But I commend you all for teaching. I sometimes will teach our people. Like I have a thing of letting Dominicans know, like you're black. A lot of Dominicans don't think they're black, but you know, your friend, for example, didn't know for you. But yeah.
That's also goes back to that slavery history.
Yeah.
That's true. I blame everything on colonialism.
Yeah, I had a question. So, I don't know, since the beginning of time, or since, I don't know how long it's been going on, there's always been this narrative that women of color or black women are very competitive amongst each other. We're like crabs in a barrel, as you mentioned earlier. How do we get past that, that narrative? Because I've been seeing a few collectives or women collectives, but you don't really hear them like progressing or like branching out, or you don't really see a lot of like all female collectives or people or a group of women really being successful in creating a space for other women or other collectives. How do we get past that narrative of, you know, woman power and of being a positive inspiration towards other women and inspiring other women?
Well, for me, I think it's doing things like this.
Yeah.
Like, I literally woke up one day and was just like, I kind of want to do a documentary about women of color because, as I mentioned before, growing up in the DMV area, there weren't much mixing. And here, I've met all different types of women of color because when I looked up the definition of women of color, it's literally everyone that isn't white.
Right.
And interacting with so many different women, men too, of different ethnicities, I've learned so much. And I have friends of all different colors and have so much in common with all of them. Partly because of the fact that they are other women of color. Like there's just certain struggles, like yes, it might not be the exact same, but there's just certain struggles that we all go through that it's like, oh wow, I have something to connect with you on. And that's where the documentary came from, to leading me to the panel where it's like creating a platform for women to come together and women to sit here in this room and listen and be able to ask questions and share thoughts to continue to connect and hopefully take it outside of these doors. Hopefully some way, somehow it inspires you to do something of your own, or even just stay in touch with the people that you meet here and just keep going from there.
I also think that for me growing up, that narrative I always heard from men. And it's like something that we need to realize that that's not true. Men are pushing this agenda. Okay? And I think that, I mean, we can go back as far when the first Women's March happened, and we saw that there was no intersectionality there when it came to women of color in terms of the feminist movement. And I think that kind of propelled women to really like reach out to one another because we obviously have way more in common than we don't. And one of that was that, oh, our voices are not being heard on this platform that is supposed to be meant for us. So I think, like she said, like Taylor was saying, definitely just doing and showing that this narrative isn't true, because I don't think it's true. I think that's something that's been put there for us to believe. Women get along perfectly fine. Like we said, we compliment each other, and once we get together, it's like, girl, like, you know, we go to the doctor, but how you get stuck in the bathroom because you meet other girls there, and you're like, you can't. So I don't think necessarily I don't want to believe that it's crabs in the barrels. I feel like we all want us to win, and we're all pushing for each other, we're not rooting for one another. So I think just not thinking of that narrative and saying that's not true is like a start as well.
I think it also takes a matter of, like, this panel's amazing, and I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, but I think what I'm seeing the lacking is being okay with talking about the problems in our own community. I don't think, I do, yes, white people got some problems with us and we need to talk about it, but it also is a matter of what are we doing to ourselves. And I'm not saying that I believe that crabs in a barrel thing at all, but it happens. We fall victim to it. I don't think we created it, but we have fallen victim to it often. When we feel like there's one spot and you gotta get that one spot. And so having those open conversations about like, I feel like you don't support me, or I feel like these are things that we're not really doing well in our community. Like I know for me, I used to have a thing about Tyler Perry movies. I don't have it anymore, but I used to. And the used to me used to just think like, you know, we're so creative, we're so diverse in our own culture, but sometimes there's only certain things about our culture that are being produced. Granted, I have better education about that now, but it did feel that way to me, that we were going the easy route for certain things, in a sense of like, we can produce these amazing things like Moonlight and, you know, do certain things that are beyond what the limits we have placed on ourselves. And so sometimes with those limits, we're making ourselves think, well, it's already limited, so it's only that one spot. But anyway, all I'm saying is we need to create those conversations too, where it's, hey, what's going on in our community? How do we preserve those things that make our community amazing, but also addressing those things that are just not good? Because think about R. Kelly, think about Michael Jackson. How did we get here this far? Like it's like, how did we get this far? He had so many albums after those convictions, and it was still. So it's just talking about these things in our own community, I think, will also help alleviate that.
I think it's as simple as like it not necessarily having to be like a group. It can start with you. Like I'm maybe a weirdo, but like I'm the type of girl, if I see another girl, I have no problem giving them a compliment. Like, girl,
That's not weird.
she feels so cute. Dang, yo, is this thing? Like, I don't have a problem. Like, when I first saw her, I was like, oh, you see that over there. Like, you know, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with giving another woman a compliment, fixing her crown. It's just, you know,
You learned the crown thing already.
it starts with you. Don't wait for other people to create a space. You create those spaces.
I was gonna say, I think again, this is like, I think sort of a result of like social media and Instagram and like people, you know, it's like a bunch of voices telling you what you should be doing. Like you need to have a collective, like you are the collective. Like, what are you doing every day? What are we doing in our literal everyday lives to make sure, like, now I know these fine young women on this panel, and there will never be a time again where I don't know them. And maybe we can't work together tomorrow, but maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who knows what that connection is, but it's open now. A woman of color allowed that connection for us, for that to happen. But yeah, I think it starts with you. I'm telling you, when you start spreading yourself, not thin, but when you start spreading yourself to others and just being vocal about what the things you want to do, like people start coming out of nowhere, spaces start opening up, money you didn't know you had come, like, and there's always a way, and you are the way. So that's, I think she said it beautifully. Starts with you.
I would just add one more thing, is that when those moments where you think about like, oh my god, this person could be my competition or something, it's really fear. That's the fear that comes in, and you just gotta like, that's not right. Because like, when you stay in your lane, there's no traffic. And the opportunities come within themselves. Because, I mean, it does happen, but then you have to spin it on you, and you're like, I'm actually a little bit jelly off of this, because I want to do it too. And that's okay, because then you have to flip it and be like, wow, this person's inspirational. Because like, they followed through, and you know, when I'm ready and it's my time, because I do believe in perfect time and the right time, things just happen. And literally when that happens, you see no competition. Because you're like, I'm good, the universe got me, it's all good.
But if you're connected to that person and that good energy, like that energy is radiates coming to you.
Yeah, don't allow other people to try to pin you against the other. So I see people do that sometimes, and it may not be on purpose. It's just like, you know, indirect comments that make you think like, wait, but just don't allow that either, because that tends to be a thing where you might not already see yourself as in competition until someone says something, and then you're like, wait, I do now this person is my competition. So just don't like allow yourself to be pitted against someone else.
Well, that's it for all the questions. First, I just want to say thank you all, everyone that came, the whole panel. This definitely made me feel a little bit better because I was not in the right headspace. Anybody that was here when I first opened the door, I think it was Danny and Lucia, I was just not, I was over the whole fucking thing. Before it even started, I just had a lot happening personally where I was just like, done. So this definitely boosted me up. And I totally appreciate you all. Sorry I ran over a little bit late, but like I said, there's still one in the back for anybody that's trying to stay a little bit longer, finish it all. But thank you all for coming. You guys can mix and mingle if you like. I will put the music back on. If you have to go, completely understand. It's hot as fuck. I need to thank you for everything.